สวัสดีค่ะ everyone you still with me 101 carving section 2 today I'm gonna show you how to carve a rose from carrot here I have pretty large head of carrot so you need to find pretty large head of carrot you can use daikon radish you're gonna get white rose and turnip get white rose also if you get daikon radish the Korean purple daikon radish you will get a purple color so let's get started I'm gonna trim off the root part discard that now we gotta determine how tall your rose gonna be by find the center of your veggie here okay then measure your carrots side here okay to the edge of the carrot here about this height that's where you determine how tall your flower gonna be about here okay so gonna cut that out that's the height of your petals gonna be now since this is the bottom part of the carrots 1 inch is sloped down this is wider you gotta use the wider part to be the top of the flower use this narrow one the root part to be the base or the bottom of the flower here so we're gonna divide this into 5 petals so what you need to do you need to create a letter Y pattern eyeball it that's the top of the Y and the tail okay and then split the other half okay and if you see the words the letter Y is a little wider then you adjust by moving while you cut moving a little closer okay now what we need to do you need to scoop out this section into a petal first so this might be a little wide when I'm carve I'm gonna move it up a little bit okay adjust your letter Y section so they come in proportion equal okay what you need to do you're gonna scoop cut from one end to another in another point of the carrot here you're gonna make a little curvy a dish like a dish you know on each section okay now you have 5 little section here now what you need to do is you need to draw a petal from each section some people going to left to right but I'm comfortable coming from right to left so I'm gonna start my right here you're gonna draw a thin slice follow that curvy line that you just create okay and bring it to here just like that and then continue the second slice bring your knife in about half an inch of the tip of your knife turn your left hand while you carving it okay continue okay once you go all around what you need to do is to trim out the section that in between to open up the space get ready to go with our second layer So run your knife about half an inch and deep inside straight across and trim out the excess of the carrot here. Okay, so you have a petals just like that. Now the second step, we need to trim this edge off so we can start our second layer. You're gonna trim about half an inch by angle your knife and trim off. Remove the skin as well. So when you start, no need to peel the skin off because you're gonna cut it out anyway. Okay. Make sure you clean the corner here. If you see any imperfection area, go back and trim it smoothly so your next layer will become nice and neat and pretty. Okay. Now the second layer, you're gonna start in between one of these petals, from half of this petal to half of the next petals. Okay, insert your knife, thin slice, drag, cut a petal. When you get halfway here where you're supposed to stop, curve it down and bring it down. Okay, see there? And then go back and trim the area out. Why we trimming out? So you open up the space and then you will need an area to work on for your next cut. So they are become one piece. They gonna be overlap, look like real flower. Okay, you have to have imagination about flower. Okay, now you get your second petals. The second slide you gonna overlap a tiny bit. Okay, and then when you drag the petal, make sure don't go over the skin. Stay within this cut that you have trimmed it. Again, insert your knife, thin slice, follow that, come all the way here, curve it down. Okay, and then trim. When you trim this part here, don't trim it too much. This is okay because you want to open up your flower here. Okay, but here you don't want to open too much. Otherwise, you're gonna have a big gap. Again, insert your knife, draw a thin slice. If you want your petal to be elegant, you need to move your knife, wave it. Okay, a little tiny bit. Then the petal will come tear. They look like tear off, and then you make your flower look beautiful and elegant. See there? Did you see what I mean? Okay, not a smooth cut. Now I'm gonna trim this space tiny bit so I can start on my next petals. Okay, you see that? Again, overlap tiny bit. And then trim it. Slide, thin slide, wiggle your knife if you want a beautiful piece of petals. And then for the last one, go ahead and trim it all. Okay, there you go. Now, the last one, you can overlap both, okay, both. So you insert your knife there, thin slice, overlap here on the left a little bit. Okay, now you need to trim it all out. We're gonna start our third layer, so you trim the space, open up the space here so you have more place to carve on. When you carve, you need to tilt your piece vegetable so you can see where you at, not just stay in one position. Keep your hand moving. I'm cleaning up the inside to open up more space so my petals become a little longer and have some depth. Okay, see there? At this point, you decide how you want your rows to be. If you want your rows to open up, you need to keep the angle of the vegetable a little like cone shape at the bottom. If you want them to close in, you need to trim this flat. That means the base and the top are the same size. They are even straight up. Okay, so that's how you decide how you want your flower to be. I'm gonna keep it open a little bit to go to my next petals. Okay, you're gonna start the same thing by carving half of this petal to the second petals. Okay, whichever petals you want, they are the same. Okay, some people like to start off with your first petal. That means we start off with this one. This is the last petal. How do I know that? Because they overlap both sides. So that is the first petal. You can start from here and carving. Okay, in between these two. Okay, so you're gonna start from here. Insert your knife, thin slice. I'm gonna keep my petals soft and elegant. I'm gonna wiggle a little bit and then and trim it off. Okay, second slice, overlap tiny bit, insert your knife, thin slice, move your blade, and then trim it out. Okay, I see my petals a little longer than that one, so I'm gonna trim it out a little bit. Okay, continue, thin slice, and we coming to a last petal. Again. Now this time you're gonna trim it so all the center become even and circle. Okay, become a circular shape now. I don't know I'm off the camera or not. Okay, see there? You gotta close the top a little curvy in because right now my flower will open up too much. The center part I want him to close in. So I'm trimming the top part to more close it in. Let's take a look at our flower. Here you go. Yeah. Okay, now we're gonna start same thing between half of each petals. I'm gonna start from here. And trim it out. You see when I carve it, I using my thumb and my finger to hold like this, okay? And move it around. And then when I carve, I use my ring finger to hold on to my, push it with the knife, support and push the knife. Okay. Second, overlap and then draw a thin slice. Bring it to half of this and then trim it out. Okay. Continue. There you go. What do you think? One more. Last slide, overlap both sides. See how I use my ring finger to push, to glide, help support my knife. Okay. there you go. And if you see imperfections like this one, I have a knife cutting on the, and this one is not quite, have some scrap. I need to take it out. Make sure you clean up your piece very well, okay? And this one, I have it somehow. I need to trim that out. Okay, we almost finished. Now, again. Now, as you go a little smaller, you're not gonna get 5 petals. Now, this one only 4, okay? You can get 5, but it's gonna be tedious, small slices. So, do what you can. Now, you need to change the way you hold. First, you hold like this. Now, you run out of space. You need to hold with your palm at your hand and then hold it. Support it and go ahead and carve. And then trim it out. Continue. I'm lowering the center so my flower become lower than the rest of the petals here. Okay, continue. They're going to become smaller and smaller as you go down. Okay, here we go. We finished with our rose carving. You see how the petals are like tear if you move the knife, and if you don't move the knife, you can see, and you can find one that kind of rounded, one on the bottom here. It's gonna be rounder form. So that's your rose carving from carrot. Now let's go to our next step of carving. Stay tuned for that. You still with me, Carving 101, Section 2, with the cucumber carving. I'm going to show you how to carve these 2-inch piece from cucumber that I told you that we saved from our last video, and save this so we can carve the flower out of it. So today I'm going to show you what you can do with this 2-inch piece of cucumber here. We're gonna carve this one might be a little difficult, but actually it's not that difficult if you know how. You're gonna carve a water lily, small one, for this piece of carving. Let me change to this one a little bit too long. This is kind of short. So this time you need to kind of do as it go. It doesn't have any you can divide it, but it might be difficult for you guys to do that. You know, if you want to divide it, then you have to make a mark on your cucumber here. But then again, when you carve the second layer, the mark might be a problem with our cut for the second layer. So kind of eyeball it and then carve as it go. You know, look around and see how it fit on your piece. First of all, you're gonna carve a thin slice of each section of this with the skin on. Okay. Almost to the base, but not all the way. Okay, like that. That's one section. Second section. Be careful of the tip of your knife. Don't poke your knife out too far, and it's gonna cut through the piece that you already cut. So let the tip of the knife kind of stay back when you cut. Okay, then you get 2 more on this side. There you go. Then you have this green part. Then each time you see this corner, you go back and reshape it. Slightly trim it off. Don't trim up too much. You see, we don't have much space to work with here because of the seed in the center of the cucumber. Okay, see there? Now the second layer, you're gonna carve the same thing, but in between these two right here. That means your petals gotta be here. Okay, thin slice. Drag your knife slowly, like that, and smooth out a little bit if you feel like they're a little bumpy there. The wall of the cucumber quite thin, so you don't get much. Okay, we went around already. See there? Actually, you can go one more. You see the wall? Let's try go to the third one. such a way to throw it away. Okay, trim it out tiny bit. If you have a lot of flesh on your cucumber, that means the seed is quite small. You have more white space here, white area. You can go for many layer. But if you run out, that means you stop. Okay. Let's go one more time. In between these two, use your index finger to spread out and then thin slice. Okay. And this one. Okay, I only have one slide here. Okay, there you go. Now you need to take this center out. Okay, you can twist it and voila, you have something like this. Now for you guys, it might be a little difficult to carve this because it's too soft. What you need to do, you put this in the water. When they start to get fresh and crunchy, you can start carving detail on the petals. Otherwise, they're going to be difficult for you to cut. But since mine is pretty fresh and I'm really comfortable to carve any way, so I'm gonna go ahead with this using your tool, remember the foam board, and start shaping your petal. You want a pointy or you want a round, up to you. Okay, if you want a triangle shape, they're very easy to cut. You want a round shape, might be a little difficult for some of you guys. I'm going slow. I hope you guys see this. Cut a triangle. Start from the center of each section. You mean this section right here. And draw a petal shape on both ends. Okay, there you go. Now go to the second layer, same thing. Or you can go this way. Pretty much easy if you have your own personal cutting board that ready for you to do a lot of detail work like this. It might help a lot of you just first start to get carving and not quite comfortable with a lot of technique that they show you. So this might be a helpful tip for you guys. And like I said, if you put this in the water for at least 10 minutes, they're gonna become much easier for you to cut. Okay, that's second layer. Let's go for the last one. Actually, you can do two on the last one. Okay, we almost finished. 2 more. Okay, voila, there you go. We finished. See how beautiful that is? Just in piece of cucumber. Now we're not gonna stop here. You know me, I'm we're gonna let me trim the bottom straight and flat so they can sit on it. I'm gonna use a carrot to create our center of this flower here. Okay. Gonna use again my scooper to scoop out this carrot to be part of our center. And oops, I don't seem to have my toothpick around me here anywhere. Okay, you need to insert the toothpick and put it here. Sorry about that, I don't have it on hand right now. There you go. Now let's soak this in the water so they can stay nice and fresh. If you do this in advance, you need to soak it in the water just enough to start to get crunchy, and then make sure you check off all the excess water. Let this piece of carving kind of dry out, not too much water, and then you keep it in a plastic container with a lid on and put in a fridge so you can use this to garnish the next day, whatever you have, so you don't have to be busy carving the same day while you are cooking or entertaining your guests. So that's another point that you might want to keep in mind. Okay, so this is our second design from cucumber tips, a lotus flower carving. Stay tuned for the next section with me, Carving 101. Welcome back. You're still with me, Carving 101, section 2. Last time I showed you how to use the in piece to carve a water lily flower. So this section, I'm going to show you how to carve a tulip out of this little piece of cucumber here. It's about more than an inch long. Okay, let's get started. You're gonna carve the petal into 5 sections. So you need to divide your cucumber into 5 sections here. I'm gonna draw a letter Y on the top here. Can you see there? And then the tail, and split that to another half. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? that a little bit wide. Okay. Now I'm going to draw a straight line from the mark here almost to the bottom, but not quite. Okay, and then on this side now it's difficult to see because it's green, and then each section start from the half of each section. You gotta draw a petal shape to meet that line that you have carved. Might be difficult for you guys to see here. You will see in a minute. Okay, let me open up for you so you can see, and then I'm gonna trim off the green part. Insert your knife and trim it off. See there? Okay, then continue another section and draw a petal shape. Continue. Now let me trim it off so you guys can see better here. See there? Then 2 more slides. Let me use my carving knife here. I don't know, I'm off the camera or not. I'm keep carving. I couldn't see where I'm at. This is the top view. Okay. See there? Since you open up like this, it will be easy for you to start carving. Okay. Now, you're going to insert your knife. You see, when the thickness of the cucumber here, when you shape it up, insert in there the tip of the knife, and then drag across the cucumber. Okay, and use your thumb to push it out. It's not that difficult. Okay, and then scrape close to the cucumber itself and pull with your left hand. It will peel off the skin. Okay, again, insert your knife into that thickness, straight across, drag it, turn your left hand and the knife at the same time. This one you don't need to, it's already open, but if you feel like it's a bit too thick, I mean not cut all the way, you scrape off a little bit. See there? Continue. Insert the knife straight across, drag it, and turn the cucumber, pull out and scrape off. See? again. Can you see that? Insert straight across. Push it out and scrape at the bottom. And pull it with your left hand. Okay. Last petals. Okay, there you go. Now you see the corner of each section here is not even. You go back and you're gonna trim it, smooth it out. Not trim too much. You don't have much space to work with. Okay, just trim it so it doesn't look a little bit pongy or an uneven area, whatever. Oops, wrong. Okay, now once you have your first layer, let me get this scrap out of here. Once you have your first layer like that, okay, you need to cut a section. So that's your petal will start from between half of this petal to half of that. That's one section, okay? So I'm gonna cut half here and half here and half here, okay? And then half of this petal here, and then half of these petals. Let me see, where do I cut it? Anyway, stay half. Okay, and half of this. So that should become 5 slices. Okay, you see there, they come out apart. Can you see that? Okay, now let me take the seed out. Will be easy for us to work with. So take the carving knife and scoop out the seed, just like that. See? There. Now you're gonna start half of each section, curve it down. Oops, wrong side. On your section there. Okay, so it might be difficult on only the first layer of the carving. The rest I think pretty much easy. You guys can handle it. Okay. Now we end up with this type of flower here. Okay. Now what we need to do, we need to scrape off this thickness of the cucumber. Actually, they don't like tulip to me. I don't know why they call it tulip flower. Anyway, I'm not the one that keeping this name. Okay, there you go. Actually, this is pretty already, you know. You can use it like this, but I think they are too thick. So I'm gonna go back and reshape it. Can I make it 2 layer? Yes, you can. So if you want a 2 layer, you split this, okay? But I'm not gonna do that for you guys. It might be difficult. So I'm gonna go ahead and trim off some more. See, if you want to make 2 layer, you're gonna split like this. See there? Split your half of your petal here into a section. See there? Okay, for you that don't have any that carving knife like mine I show you, you can do with this carving knife, but make sure they're sharp. I have been used my for heavy duty stuff, so they're not quite sharp. I didn't sharp them yet, so they can do a work, but they're not sharp enough. Just in case you don't have the knife, you can use this one as well. Oh, I went around already. Okay, there you go. And you soak them in the water. Now, if you want them to become a little fancier, use another technique by pull this in a little bit here so they become different layer. You're gonna cut off this back side here for a fancy double layer. You know, that's look good already, but you want another layer, you cut off this back here, cut a triangle, and then open up. See there? Get more dimension on your carving. Okay, now let's put this in here so you guys can carve it with ease. Once you learn technique little bit here and there, and then when you put your technique to a different design, it's also work, and it improve your design to be a better design and make it look unique and beautiful because you design it. Okay, there you go. You have more layer effect on your piece. See there, open up and put this in the water. They will open up more. Okay, what do you think? Can you handle this little beautiful flower here? You can use a little ball here to put inside of this flower here to be a different flower, but this is supposed to be a tulip, you know, so I'm not gonna put anything in there, but that's what it says, tulip. I don't see how they look like. It look like tulip to you? Anyway, have fun. This is another section of cucumber carving with me.